Welcome to the Believe in the Ravens podcast with reaction to the fact that the Ravens have used the non-exclusive franchise tag on Lamar Jackson, opting against the exclusive tag. It was a decision that really sent shockwaves around the league. A lot of people very surprised the Ravens did not use the exclusive tag. To be honest, I was not one of them. I just felt like over the past week or two, it seemed to be swinging more and more toward the fact that the Ravens were considering using the non-exclusive tag on Jackson. It's a huge gamble by the team because it exposes Jackson to free agency and the Ravens could lose him. But it also saves them $13 million against the cap. And I feel like Eric DeCosta has a read on the market. Let's get through a couple of the issues here. First of all, they saved $13 million on the cap. An exclusive tag would have been $45 million. This is $32 million. That probably means a couple of veteran players stick around that would have had to be let go if they used the exclusive tag. So that's one thing. The exclusive tag would have impacted their roster more significantly. Secondly, Eric DeCosta was at the combine. I just get the sense that over time, the Ravens historically have had a really good feel for the market. I just think they've shown that in moves they've made and in moves they haven't made, dating back to Ozzie Newsome, and Eric DeCosta's been Ozzie Newsome's right-hand man forever. This team has seemed to have a good feel for the market. I think Eric DeCosta was out at the combine, got his feelers out there, and kind of got a sense for who would be willing to go all in on Lamar Jackson. And I think Eric DeCosta must have gotten a sense that the market would not be overheated for him. And so Eric DeCosta looks around and says, well, can I afford to save $13 million into the cap and use the non-exclusive tag and risk having another team sign him away? Well, the answer is yes. He thinks he can afford to do that because he did. So what happens next? Lamar Jackson is free to start talking to teams next week for a free agent contract. And if he gets a deal that the Ravens choose not to accept, the Ravens just get 2 first-round draft picks in return. And a lot of people think that would not be nearly enough to come back for the team for a former MVP quarterback who is just 26 years old. Remember, Lamar Jackson's just 26 years old, even at this point in the league. So he's a young quarterback. He's a former league MVP. And a lot of people think if they were to lose him for 2 number 1 picks, that would be a disaster for Eric DeCosta. Now look at it from Eric DeCosta's point of view. He says, okay, you're free to go look around, Lamar Jackson. We have not been able to work out a deal here in 2 years we've been trying. You go see what's out there. But I think Eric DeCosta kind of read the room and said, who out there is willing to give Lamar Jackson what we believe to be a fully guaranteed contract in the Deshaun Watson realm? So let's say $240 million fully guaranteed, and give up 2 number 1 draft picks in return for Jackson. Not every team is looking for a quarterback, but let's say you are looking for a quarterback. You might be picking in the top 10 in the draft this year. And if you are, you can get a rookie quarterback on a rookie deal and have him on a rookie deal for 5 years and not have to give up the 2 number 1 draft picks. That would be a much more agreeable financial move for that organization. Lamar Jackson absolutely is the more proven quantity than any rookie quarterback coming into the league now, but that has to come into play. You get a rookie quarterback on a 5-year rookie deal once you consider that 5th-year option. So that could come into play as well. And I just feel like Eric DeCosta looked around and said, I don't see any teams that are going to give Lamar Jackson a contract that we won't match. It's a huge gamble Eric DeCosta makes, but I think he was reading the room and got that impression. Remember, the Ravens still hold the control here because they have the option of matching any offer sheet that Lamar Jackson gets. So Lamar Jackson can go out on the open market now. He can see what's out there. The Ravens effectively let other teams do their bidding for them now. Eric DeCosta has effectively said, look, we tried for 2 years to get a deal done. It didn't happen. You guys try. You see what you can get from him. See what you can work out with him. So the other teams do the bidding, and then the Ravens swoop in and say, okay, yeah, we'll sign that. And now Lamar Jackson's back in Baltimore anyway. It could happen. It could easily happen. A lot of people want to say This was collusion. All the owners are colluding against Lamar Jackson and against the idea of fully guaranteed contracts. It's an argument to be made, but remember, any team willing to, you're not only giving him a fully guaranteed contract. That would be the case if he was an unrestricted free agent next week. Yes, the question would be, are you willing to give him a fully guaranteed contract? In this case, you're not only giving him a fully guaranteed contract, but you also need to give up 2 future number 1 picks. So that's a significant additional cost. And so other teams may just say, that's not a price we want to pay. The fully guaranteed contract plus 2 number 1 picks. I know people will say, well, Denver gave up more than that for Russell Wilson. Cleveland gave up more than that for Deshaun Watson. And that's true, but that doesn't make that good business either. And if you ask anyone in Denver right now what they think of that deal, I don't think they're going to say that was good business. So it becomes a calculated business decision by Eric DeCosta and the Ravens. Overall, over the course of their history, they've been better than not when it comes to making these calculated decisions. This one is probably the biggest gamble in the history of the organization, given the player that it is. But I'll also say this. A lot of people don't remember this. In 2009, the Ravens let Ray Lewis hit free agency. Their most iconic player in the organization's history was a free agent in 2009. The Ravens let him test the market. They said, you're free. Here's an offer. You go test the market if you want. We're here. If you don't find anything better, we're here. And Ray Lewis was a free agent briefly, but he was. And then in the end, he ended up signing back with the Ravens. Will that happen here with Lamar Jackson? It's just so hard to tell. It would only take one team and one owner who wants to make a splash to set up an offer sheet that the Ravens find prohibitive in terms of cost. And it absolutely could happen. But I think what Eric DeCosta did was look around the room, get a sense of the temperature, and say, this is the best move for us to make right now. It saves us $13 million. And we don't believe there's an offer out there that we will not be willing to match. That had to be part of the calculus for the Ravens. And so that's where we are. Lamar Jackson on the open market as of next week, and he will be able to see what is out there for him and the organization. As I said, a lot of people were shocked that Lamar Jackson was not given the restrictive tag. I was not one of them, though.